So today we'll start with inter-thread communication, and the methods used in inter-thread communication are, as mentioned earlier, wait, notify, and notify all. So these are methods which are used in inter-thread communication, and these are methods of the object class. So if you remember the object class which we had studied in the start, see here the object class. So wait, notify all are methods of the object class. So these are methods of which class? Methods of object class. So not of the thread class. The method which we had studied all this while, the start, run, sleep, join, okay, set priority, get priority. These were methods of which thread class. So to invoke these methods you needed objects of thread class, but to invoke these methods any class which is extending the object class, so any in user defined class. So now class bank, I know internally is extending, implicitly it extends object, right? All the classes they extend on the object class internally, so I can call wait, notify all with the objects of bank class also, because it is extending the object class. Okay, this is one thing I wanted to tell in the start. Second thing, let's take a real world example of a ATM. Let's take this class bank which has a balance, and the initialized balance is 1000, and we have two methods, withdraw and deposit. Withdraw, whatever amount I pass as an argument, that amount will be deducted from the balance, and in deposit, whatever value as I pass to the function as argument, that much amount will be added to the balance. Okay, and then later on I can make an object of this class bank. Bank B1 is new bank, so this is the object of that bank class. Now I'll create, now let's take an example wherein an employee who has balance of 1000, and this employee needs to withdraw 10. Okay, on the first of every month salary is credited. Salary is credited usually. It may vary from company to company, but normally in the first week of the first day of the month salary is credited. So today, let's say assuming is 1st March, and this employee whose salary is 50,000, what is his salary? So on the 1st of March 50,000 should be credited to this person's account. Now his current balance is 1000. The balance on 28th Feb was how much? 1000. Now this person waits for 28th Feb to get over, and on the 1st of March this person goes to the ATM to withdraw, let's say 10,000 rupees. So as he inserts the card and checks his balance, the balance shows 1000. Now can this person withdraw 10,000? No. So he is standing near the ATM over here. This person is standing near the ATM, and then he calls his payroll person. What happened? Hasn't the salary been credited for this month? This payroll person says just wait for 2 minutes, and I was just about to send the instruction to the bank, and you have called me in between. So within 2 minutes you should get a notification from your bank that salary is credited. Now this person, what now, in what mode is he now currently? He is now which stage? Waiting stage. and he will keep on wait till he gets a notification from the bank. Now if he gets the notification after 5 minutes saying HDFC Bank, the message, and it says 50,000 credited to your account, your current balance is how much? 51,000. Once he receives this notification, then only he can carry on his withdrawal activity. Then he will withdraw 10,000 withdrawn, and the balance is how much? 41,000. Correct? So this employee is thread T1, this payroll person is thread T2. This thread T1 is coming for which job? Thread T1 has to come to perform which job? Thread T1 has come to perform the withdrawal job. So thread T1 will call which function? Withdraw. And thread T2 has come for which job? Deposit. Right? This will look very shabby. So thread T1 will withdraw and thread T2 will deposit. And both these will simultaneously work on the object B1. Correct? So this is the mutual object B1. Because both the threads are calling the function of this object only. T1 is also calling the function of thread object, of bank object withdraw, and T2 is also calling method of bank class deposit. Now T1 has started performing its activity. In between, T1 is depending on which thread? T2. So T1 has started. Now T1 has wait. T1 has started its activity. Now T1 is waiting for which thread? T2. And now once T2 processes and sends a notification to T1, then T1 will resume. So here T1 will wait, and once T2 sends the notification, T1 will continue its execution, and T2 can also continue its other part of the job. So in wait, we don't have to wait for the entire thread to finish. Like in join, what we do, we wait for the entire thread to complete, then only the second thread will start. In wait notify, you are waiting for a particular event, and once you get the notification, you will resume your job, and this thread can again now keep on carrying on its other activities also. Okay, so now we'll need a class bank with these two functions, and we'll need some multi-threading also in that. So let's now create a sample code to execute this program. Okay, so first thing first, I'll make a class. Okay, I'll name it banking. In class banking, I'll make a integer balance, and initial balance is 1000, and I'll make a function public void deposit amount, and whatever amount is deposit will be added to the balance, right? Balance will become balance plus the amount, and I'll make a function withdraw. What is this? An amount, and this will be withdrawn from the balance. Is this understood so far? Okay, very good. Now I need to create two threads also, T1, T2. So now let's go and create the threads. I will create in the main. So class, let's say enter thread communication main. In this I will make public static void main, Okay. Now see the difference over here. Both these threads are working on the object B1. Suppose I need to create an object B1 over here then. So banking B1 is new banking, and now I need to create two thread T1 and thread T2. Okay. Now if I make, for that I'll have to create a thread class first. I need to create a thread class. So I'll create two thread classes. One thread 1 T1 and thread 2 T2. Okay. Yeah, you can say thread 1 is withdrawing, right? So I will call it as thread W. I will call it as thread W. And this thread is depositing. I will call it as thread D. So I need to create how many classes? I need to, because if I need to make T1 and T2, I need their classes first, right? So thread W and thread D. So thread W is a class thread W extends thread and class thread deposit extends thread. Okay. Now let's make object of these two classes now. So thread withdraw is T1, right? Thread withdraw is T1. T1 equals to new thread withdraw, and thread deposit, your thread who's depositing is T2, is new thread deposit. Okay. Now as they will be working on the common object B1, while creating both, I will pass B1 as argument, B1 and B1. So this B1 will go in the constructor. So I need to create a constructor of thread W, and this constructor will take argument of which type? B1. B1 is of what type? Banking. So I will take a object of which type as argument? Banking, and let's take it as BX. And so here I need a banking object in which I will store that. Okay, let's take it as banking object BK, and this, okay, B1, let's keep it B1 only, then let's not confuse B1, and this B1 will go where? In BK. Is this understood so far? Perfect. So whenever, and now in T2 thread 2 also I am passing B1. So even thread 2 here also I made a BQ object banking, and this is thread D, and this D is going over here. Okay, is this understood till here? Simple concept. Okay, I've made a class bank. The class banking I have made, why? Because I wanted to make a banking object. So that using this object I can call the methods withdraw and deposit, and then as I have to make two threads T1 and T2, T1 to withdraw and T2 to deposit, so I have made two classes, class thread W, and while making the objects I have passed the banking object as an argument. So this will go in the constructor. So from the constructor it will go in the BK object. Is this understood? Okay. Now what is thread W calling? Which function? Thread W is calling withdraw function. Now as I have a banking object BK, now as we are doing threading, so we have to write which function for threading? Public void run, and in run using BK in thread W, which function do I have to call? Withdraw. So withdraw is of which class? Withdraw the bank class. For that I need a banking object, and here I have the banking object BK. So I will call what? BK dot withdraw in this thread. And in this deposit, what will I call in the run method? Here I'll call BK dot deposit. Okay, and now I'll start both the threads, because we need to start both the threads. So I'll say T1 dot start and T2 dot start. Okay, understood? Okay, so far so good. Okay, this we've understood, right? Now let's take up another example for your understanding, which will help you all understand this concept better. Let's say one person goes to the ATM. Let's say Alice goes to the ATM, and Alice then sees message over here, no money, or ATM out of funds, ATM out of funds. Okay, now as we all know, in an ATM only one person is allowed at a time. So let's say Alice enters the ATM and Alice locks the ATM. Let's say we'll just hypothetically create an environment. Alice is, this is a lock. Okay, so Alice has gone in the ATM and Alice has locked the ATM, because only one person can enter the ATM at a time. So Alice has locked the ATM. So if whoever wants to go into the ATM has to first do what? Enter and lock the ATM, then only he or she can access it. Okay, once she enters the ATM and she sees ATM out of funds, now what to do? Can she withdraw money? No. Then she sees a van waiting outside. You know, we have these, the vans which add money to the ATM, they deposit the money to the ATMs. You know, there are many companies. IMS is one of them, very famous brand you see on the road. So this she sees a IMS car, a van waiting outside, which has come to deposit money in the ATM. Now what? Now this IMS technician, this is the IMS technician. Now he has to go inside the ATM to deposit the money. So first Alice has to come out, means Alice has to unlock. Alice has to, if she wants the money to be deposited, she needs to first release the lock. She needs to first do what? So when she comes out, she releases the lock. This lock will be then acquired by whom? The IMS technician. Now this lock is acquired by whom? IMS technician. This IMS technician now loads the fund. This board will be removed from here, and now once the loading is complete, this IMS person will come out and again unlock it, right? Now it is again unlocked. Now again when Alice enters, she will lock it. This IMS has gone out, Alice has come in, she will again lock it, and then she will access the ATM. Once she is done, she will go out, release the lock. If some other person wants to come in, let's say Ben has to come in, so Ben has to first do what? Ben has to first come and lock, and then Ben can use. Is this concept clear, understood? So whichever object is accessing has to first lock it, do the work, and then unlock it. So when Alice was waiting for IMS person, did she have the lock or did she release the lock? She had to release the lock. Yes. So wait, whenever we fire wait, wait will release the lock, will release the, remember this concept, will release the lock, and lock in multi-threading term is called as monitor. It's called as what? Monitor. So it will always release the monitor. These methods, they don't release the monitor. Start, run, start with this, sleep, join. Sleep and join will not release the monitor. They will keep the monitor. So it's like going out and locking the ATM and going out. So if there's a kid at home, a very small kid, 2 years, 3 years, and the mom needs to go to the nearby bakery and get bread for 5 minutes, she'll lock the room, lock the house, and then run and come back in 5 minutes time, because she knows that the kid is home, the kid is alone at home. So she will lock and then she will go. So this is what sleep and join they do. When they are sleeping, and they will lock the object and go to sleep, but wait will release the lock and then go in waiting stage, so that the next object can come and do the depositing. Understood? Okay. First thing. So first thing about wait was it releases the lock. Second thing is, if you are firing a wait method, it has to be within synchronized context. Has to be within synchronized context. Either a synchronized method or a synchronized block. It has to be within, say, so withdrawal is waiting for deposit, right? Withdrawal. So here I will fire wait. Here I will fire wait method. So withdrawal has to be synchronized. Withdrawal has to be synchronized over here. Synchronized void withdrawal. It will come over here. It will come before the void. And if there is a public, then public synchronized void withdrawal. And who will fire notify? After deposit, it will notify, right? So if this is firing notify, this also has to be within synchronized block. So wait and notify has to be within synchronized context. So here also you will have to write synchronized before the void. So second thing is, they both has to be in synchronized context. If you don't write it in synchronized, it will show illegal monitor state exception. What will it throw? If we don't write it, it will throw illegal monitor state exception. It will throw a compile time checked exception. Name, by what name? Illegal monitor state exception. If you try to invoke wait and notify from outside the synchronized context, so you have to invoke them from synchronized context. Okay, this is the second point. Third point is, wait also throws a checked exception known as interrupted exception. Interrupted exception, like same like sleep, same like even sleep and join, they throw interrupted exception. That's why it is mandatory that we write wait in try catch. Absolutely correct. So whenever you are invoking wait, you have to invoke it in try catch, because it throws a checked exception, which is interrupted exception. So you can give an object of interrupted exception if you know the spelling of interrupted, and if you don't know the spelling of interrupted, you can just give it exception, the base class, the default exception handling. So these two things we need to keep in mind. So wait will always be within try catch, because it throws an interrupted exception, and it will always be in synchronized context, because it throws illegal monitor state exception if you don't write it within synchronized block. Okay, and wait will release the monitor, so that the depositing thread can take the monitor and do the depositing. Okay, so over here now, once we have started both, now how much money does he wants to withdraw? The person wants to withdraw how much? 10,000, right? He wants to withdraw 10,000. So he has to wait till the balance becomes more than or equal to 10,000, right? Okay, so how much do we need to withdraw and how much we need to deposit? So withdraw, how much are we withdrawing? We are withdrawing 10,000, right? So when we are writing withdraw, we'll say 10,000, and how much are we depositing? So when we will call the deposit method, this is withdraw class banking deposit and withdraw. When we are calling the withdraw method 10,000 and the deposit method, how much are we depositing? We are depositing 50,000, right? Okay. Now what we have to check over here is in withdraw, what do we have to check? Your balance should be more than the amount you are withdrawing, right? So if the balance is less than the amount which we are withdrawing, then what will we say? Insufficient funds. What will we say? Insufficient funds. And then what do we have to do? Wait. Then we have to wait, right? And as mentioned, can we call wait directly? No, we'll have to call wait in try catch. So try, and let's give a default catch with the default exception. So if this, if we've given a try, this if closes and this withdraw function closes. I also need to close the, okay, we also need to close the class bank. This is the, so if the balance is less than the amount, we will say insufficient funds, and then we will wait for the balance to be credited, and the waiting will always be done in try catch, and this withdraw function has to be now what? Synchronized, because it is all, you can have to write wait in a synchronized context. Now deposit, what will deposit do after depositing? So once the money is deposited, okay, here what we can say is going to deposit, we can say going to deposit, then deposit is done, and then after depositing, what we can say? Money deposited, and after money deposited, what do we have to tell? We have to notify. So we'll call which function? Okay, notify can be called without try catch, but it has to be called in a synchronized context. So once it is notification, once it receives a notification, then it will withdraw the money. Then it will do what? Withdraw the money. So after this if is done, it will withdraw the money. What will be the balance after withdrawal? Balance equals to balance minus the amount, and then you can display the new balance. You can display money withdrawn. You can display money withdrawn and current balance is plus that. This will happen. Okay, so let's going to deposit. So when he is going to deposit, what is the current balance? you can just say balance is how much when he is going to deposit. What that and the balance is 1000. Money deposited, what after depositing, what is the balance? 51,000, right? Balance is, and now here when he goes to withdraw in insufficient funds, that time balance is how much? 1000, right? And money withdrawn, now after that, after withdrawal, the balance is 51,000 minus 10,000, 41,000. Okay, so this is how we've done. Now which class contains main? The class which contains main has to be public, and the program will be saved by that name. itc main.java. I'll just run through the program once. Let's see there are no syntactical errors. So class banking, and in that synchronized void deposit, which is depositing the money, and after depositing it is notifying. Very good. Synchronized void withdraw, if the, okay, you can't, don't move it over here. First we need to check, right? So this statement we need to check first, so don't write it over here. So if the balance is less than the amount, then insufficient funds, and then you need to wait, you have to wait in try catch, and then once the notification is received, the waiting will stop, will go in, balance will be deducted, and this. Okay, and thread w is to withdraw. So I have a banking object, b1 will be passed to the constructor, v1 will go into bk, and using bk I will call the withdraw function, and I have to withdraw 10,000. And the deposit function also I'll pass object of the banking, b1 will go to bk, and then in bk I'll be depositing 50,000. Okay, 50,000 will not go into the integer. 50,000 will not go into the integer. So let's take a float value. Let's take a float value, because into integer range is still 32,000 only. Yeah, so just check the brackets once. Banking function finish, try catch, if close, function finish, class close, void run, class close, void run, class close, main close, class close. Yeah, looks fine to me. Let's try to, and this already saved. Let's try to execute this. Okay, so what pattern of output we are expecting in this? Pattern of output is, first is balance is low, 1000. Okay, so first thing first, when we are, okay, t1 and t2. So t1 is your which object of thread w, right? So first we will go for the t1, so it will go insufficient funds. So this should be the output, insufficient funds. I'll just trace the output in a notepad. Insufficient fund, balance is 1000, and then it is waiting for what? Deposit to happen. So deposit will happen over here. So you next will say going to deposit. So when he is going to deposit, that time also balance is 1000. Balance is 1000. Then he'll say money deposited. How much? 50,000 is deposited, right? So 50,000 is deposited means how much? Balance is 51,000. And now the withdrawal will now it will come out of wait, and then balance will be deducted, and we'll say money withdrawal. Current balance is, now from 51, if I withdraw 10,000, becomes 41,000. This should be the ideal scenario. Just remove the plus and the double quotes. This should be your expected output. This is what you can expect. So the is of this is very close. Give a space over here. So it should give a space over here. Yeah, this is my expected output. Let's try. Inter-thread communication. Okay, has compiled perfectly fine. Now let's execute. What does it say? Class main method not found in ITC main. Okay, there's no main method. Oh my. Oh. Public. Okay, I missed the string args. String args was missing. Okay, let's compile it again. And now let's run it. And now let's compare my output. Insufficient fund balance is 1000. Going to deposit balance is 1000. Money deposited balance is 51,000. Money withdrawn current balance is 41,000. Okay, and now let's see a note on wait. So wait is declared in which class? Java.lang.object, right? As mentioned over here, these methods are of which class? Object class. These methods are of which class? Object class. Okay, very good. Next is invoked on an object. It is not on a thread. Not invoked on a thread. Not on a thread. It is on a object. Okay. Wait method goes into waiting state and will return only when you call notify. Will return only when you call notify. So this will wait and this will notify, right? Wait and then notify will resume. So from here, this is the thread T1. This is thread T1, thread T2. T2 is waiting, is not doing anything over here. So in wait, it goes, and then once it is notified, it will continue. Okay. Releases the lock as mentioned in the ATM example, in the IMS example. So if Alice wants IMS to deposit the money, Alice will have to release the lock and give it to IMS. So we'll release the lock or the monitor on the object using synchronized. Okay, synchronizing multiple objects. Okay, and must be compulsorily called in synchronized context. Must be compulsorily called in synchronized context, either in synchronized method or synchronized block. Either in synchronized method or synchronized block. If you don't do it, it will throw illegal monitor state exception. Okay, so whenever we are calling wait or notify, that method should be synchronized or should have a synchronized block. And third thing is wait should always be in try catch because it throws interrupted exception. Hence must always be in try catch. This is your wait notify.